Let me bring in Congressman Keith Ellison, the first, by the way, Muslim elected to Congress. Thank you so much, Congressman, for your time.
Thank you, Tamara.
First off, I'm sure you've heard the news that Johar Tsarnaev has been charged with using a weapon of mass destruction against persons and property in the Boston Marathon attacks itself. And we're reading through the charges here, even learning more about what the FBI seized from his room. Among other things, they described a large pyrotechnic, a black jacket and white cap, similar to what was seen in that surveillance video. But the big concern, in addition to obviously his brother's ties to any other outside groups, if there are any, is the question about the FBI, and that the FBI questioned Tamerlan Tsarnaev and said that he was not a threat at the time. Do you have any concerns with that information?
Well, you know, it's too early for me to second-guess the FBI. I mean, I think that we need to know more about what they knew. I mean, the fact of the matter is that it's good that they contacted him. That wasn't enough to deter him, obviously. But the fact is that before I'm going to say the FBI should have done something different, I'm not prepared to say that yet. There's just not enough information. But what I will say is this, is that, you know, we don't know what their motivation was yet. Those facts may come clear. There is some indication that this had to do with Chechnya and their dispute with Russia. And it's not necessarily the case that anyone should jump to the conclusion that there was any religious motivation here. I think, again, you know, prudence and calm is the order of the day. And by the way, you know, the officials who investigated this case did an awesome job. I think they should be commended. I think the FBI is probably part of that.
Let me ask you, since you bring up jumping to conclusions, obviously many people have brought up his religion, and there have been reports over time that his mother as well seemed to become increasingly more religious. Obviously that is not a crime, but according to at least one individual who knew her well, she started to have conspiracy theories related to 9/11 and feeling that her son was framed and targeted because of his religion. Proceeding ahead, when we're bringing up radicalization of this individual suspect, what is the proper question to ask? How is it properly addressed without offending Muslims and without appearing that we're all alarmist about an individual's religion?
Good question. I think the first thing is to ask questions and to operate on the basis of behavior. And so this gentleman, well, individual, I'll say that, he came to the attention of the FBI because of things he said and things he did. That's appropriate. What should not be cause for alarm is somebody's status as a member of a particular religious faith or how devout they may happen to be. You know, in all these cases where you see acts of radicalized individuals using violence, they may have a religious affiliation, but oftentimes when they give reasons for why they did what they did, it is politics. So, for example, you know, Timothy McVeigh was motivated by Waco, not his religion. Faisal Shahzad happened to be Muslim, but he was motivated by his grievances with regard to U.S. policy in Pakistan and Afghanistan. And who knows what these individuals' motivation may be, but it probably will have something to do more with politics than religion. So let's not cast a wide net and just go after a whole religious group.
Let me play what Congressman Peter King said on Fox News this Sunday regarding the way ahead and the proper way to ask these questions. Let me play it.
99% of the Muslims are outstanding Americans. The fact is, that's where the threat is coming from. When the FBI was after the Westies, they went to the Irish community. When they were after the Mafia, they went to the Italian community. If you know what threat is coming from a certain community, that's where you have to look.
Do you see anything valid in those remarks?
No. Well, I see it's true that well over 99% of the Muslim community is absolutely loyal, law-abiding Americans who are as offended by what happened in Boston as any other American. That's true. But after that, my friend Representative King is wrong again. You know, the FBI did not go after all Italians or all Irish people. No one ever said, let's surveil a whole ethnic community. They went after people who were criminals and who were exhibiting criminal behavior. Now, the fact that those people happen to be of a particular ethnic origin wasn't really the causal effect. You know, what the issue was, what they were doing. And so, again, it's just ridiculous. I mean, to say that because of the Westies that every Irish person was under suspect. Everyone in America knows that's ridiculous. You know, but I mean, still, he wants to cast a wide net with regard to Muslims. You know, the fact is, if you were to ask American Muslims, where's Chechnya on the map, most of us would never know. We'd have to find a map and look for it. But you know, so you're talking to people who know literally nothing about the conflict that these individuals may be motivated by. So it's just one thing it does is it targets people unfairly, but it wastes valuable resources. We need to channel resources where they're most needed, which is on behavior.
Let me get your reaction, though, to the hearing today, the congressional hearing looking at the comprehensive immigration reform, the Boston bombings coming up, and you have some senators who are now saying this is an example of why we need to slow down the process for fear of so-called threats being let into this country.